What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome to the channel. We are looking at XRP USD this morning. This is a daily chart on tradingview.com. A couple things I want to share here that I see on the chart, a couple areas of concern as we head into another week here in a new year for crypto. And as the XRP lawsuit continues to linger on longer, feels like a very long time. It's been 2 years plus. So we'll have to see how much longer it goes. It's a waiting game. Guys, welcome to the channel. Appreciate all of these subs. Greatly appreciate the community here. So we're going to take a look here. We're going to zoom in on the daily chart XRP. By the way, this is the Bitstamp data. Bitstamp is the data here. If you look at the top left, you can see it says Bitstamp. So obviously XRP has found resistance at a good cluster of overhead targets that we had on the chart. So a 42,900, a 43.73, a 43,410, and then a 43,537, I believe that is. So that is all up here, guys. Resistance at those levels on the 23rd of January. And if you take a look over to your left-hand side of the screen, I will actually put a box around that if I can figure out how to do that. So this whole area here, the lower end of this range, was support at those four levels I had mentioned. And if we take a look to some more recent times, the top end of this range is the lower end of this range. So this was support at that level. And then when it broke, which was basically right here on the 8th of November, it has been flipped into resistance. So this box zone, the top end of this box is resistance at where the lower end of this box was support. So just basic technical analysis, support turning into resistance. And then on the flip side of that, which is what we want to see moving forward here for XRP as the price continues to go higher at some point, we want to see the upper end of our most recent range turn into support. So we'll see something along the lines of, don't mind my phone in the background. So at some point the price will move higher and then we'll trade up and maybe we'll back test this zone, turning it into support and then continue to the upside. So that is just some thinking out into the future at some point. Things will probably be relatively quiet until we either get resolve this lawsuit or we get a big rally in Bitcoin. But I still think that even if that took place, which I don't see that happening, at least right now, I think XRP price will stay relatively quiet. So let's get to some more recent action. We obviously had a nice move to the upside on the 9th of February, which was Thursday. So a couple days ago last week, that was crushed to the downside as resistance showed up right at our 4167 level, 40167. That was actually that was looking like a good day. I was watching the market that day and it looked like we were going to break to the upside, and then they crushed the markets. So a little bit of overhead baggage in here too for the price as that candle wick reversed hard. Now we found support at 37,620, 37,620, this white line on the chart. It was support over in here in the middle of January. So far it's support once again. So what I think may take place here, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I think Bitcoin is ready to make another roll over to the downside, another leg down. And I'll show you an example on the chart, but let's stick to this right now. Is I think we're going to trade up a bit here and then another leg down, probably a pretty nasty leg down. Assuming Bitcoin rolls over. If Bitcoin doesn't continue to roll over and actually just found support at a level, we'll go over and look at the chart before this video is over, then XRP could rally. But I don't think that's what's slowly taking place here. So as we potentially rally here, I'll zoom into the chart for you guys. I say rally, it's not a rally. Up to the 38,760 is probably as high as we'll really go. And the reason is because we'll bump our heads at the lower end of this range. So if you put a box, let me do this for you once again. If you put a box around this, the lower end of that box, the price will more than likely, unless Bitcoin explodes to the upside, will more than likely get up to that area, find some trouble, maybe wick into it, and then ultimately roll back over to the downside. So not only one, is it the lower end of that box, two, we have a level there, and it's above the market, so it should act as resistance, and that is 38,760. So I think we're going to be in for some relatively quiet to downward markets, especially once Bitcoin broke 22.5 and much lower. Hopefully I'm wrong, guys. Hopefully we get a settlement to this BS lawsuit that has been going on for over 2 years now, and the price does something like this, which I thought it was. I didn't think the lawsuit was over the other day, but I thought the price was ready to break out on the 9th, and I was looking for a pop to the upside. So of course, there's always that could always play out. People get super bearish and they get short, and the price will actually crush all those traders' stops and stuff and actually explode to the upside. So I'm kind of always ready for that, but I'm just following the charts on the day by day. So if you put like a 45-degree line here at the top end of this range, a big break to the upside, and that could be a very big break. So I'm always ready for that. But like I said, as the price just creeps along here, I don't think it's going to get much higher than that 38,760. So keep that in mind. Let's take a step back again, and let me show you something that's going on here. So over in here, we had a sell-off. We had a retrace to the lower end of this range as resistance, pulled back, and then we actually did what I thought was going to take place on the 9th. We had a big candle to the upside, which is, let me get the arrow right here on the 4th of November. That was what I thought was going to take place on Thursday of this week. We were going to see a big breakout to the upside. That breakout failed and ultimately got crushed by the FTX debacle. That was a huge move to the downside. That was, a 38% move to the downside. Keeping in mind, though, that we had a resistance line at 58.42 that whole time. So it came in right at a perfect level, but it was a shakeout. So people were, or shorts, I should say, were probably ready for the price to plummet out of here to the downside. And before it did that, so they were, in theory, they were right about their trade, but the market sometimes will move in the opposite direction to stop people out before taking that trend that people think it's going to take. So it rallied first, and then it ultimately rolled over. So anyways, getting back to the recent area, I thought we were going to have a breakout on this day to the upside. Of course, I did not know if it was going to break all of these levels here or not. Doesn't really matter because it didn't happen. We actually rolled over. But the chart looks bearish right now. It looks like it's going to do something like this and then ultimately roll over. Who knows where it will stop? The only thing that I pay attention to is the levels on the chart. So we have a 36, a 37, and that is that. We also have this very important area here on the chart, which has been respected for a while. So hopefully it holds. If not, the price could be heading much lower. We have this white line on the chart here. It connects all of these major lows, these major support areas. And you can see this was a crazy day right here. The 2nd of January, wicked all the way down to basically 29 or so cents and then rallied big. So if we get that pump up to resistance at 38,760, we'll probably find ourselves at some point back down to this white line here, and hopefully it holds. So that's kind of my thoughts. They're not the greatest, most, moon boy, $10,000 XRP, blah, blah, blah scenario, but they're realistic right now, I think, assuming we don't get some wild news volatility event. If that takes place, anything is possible. We could rally up, we could rally down, or not rally down. We could fall off a cliff here. So that is, that's that. Of course, all of these lines on the chart play less of a role on a news event, but usually at some point, like so, for example, if we get a wild move to the upside on a news event, it'll usually come in some point at near one of our lines. So even if we get a crazy news event and the price pumps, for example, to 82 cents or maybe 88 cents and then pulls back, it'll probably end up closing under one of our levels. So wherever that may be, maybe it's up here at 55, maybe it's up here at 96, and the same to the downside. We could see something like this take place, and we actually saw it. We saw it right here on the 2nd of January. That was a super nasty day. We were buying up XRP on that day. I remember it crazy vividly, but we had a crazy move to the downside, and it went through a bunch of our levels. It went through our 32, our 31, our 30, our 35.59, and ultimately it ended up closing above all of those. So those were all support. Didn't quite make it above our 38.071, 34.071, excuse me, but it was very close. And that was a good shakeout and undercut this major low over here on the 9th of November. So we do have where is it at? I think it's way down here. We do have a crazy, crazy low target, guys, at 18 cents for XRP. And I believe that was from this massive topping pattern here. That was the projection to the downside, taking basically the depth of this head area, projecting it to the downside, gives us roughly an 18-cent XRP. So we've seen crazy sell-offs in this market. Who knows if that will happen? If it did, I would probably say that would be an unbelievable opportunity to pick up some XRP. So just keep that in the back of your mind. It's not a $180 XRP. It's an 18-cent XRP. It's way down there. Like I said, hopefully I'm wrong and the price rallies from here. But as the price just kind of creeps along here and, there's no news-driven breakouts or anything like that, I think it's kind of a slow and steady decline in price, unfortunately. But if you're looking to pick up some more XRP, then this is your time because it's cheaper than it was a couple days ago and a couple weeks ago. So that's my thoughts on XRP right now. It's definitely not a higher price XRP video, but I think it's kind of realistic for what could potentially be taking place right now. So let me know your thoughts, guys. Welcome to the channel. If you are not yet subscribed, go ahead and join us. Hit that subscribe button. Appreciate it. Turn on the bell if you want to be notified when we post videos or shorts. I will catch you guys in the next video. Have a great Sunday. Go ahead and enjoy the Super Bowl if that is your thing. And we'll be back throughout the day, probably throughout the evening with some videos, maybe some shorts. We have some membership stuff that I'm going to work on getting released today as well. All right, guys, take care.